I love talking to people about the good old days. The good old days for Kevin Saunders may involve Radford High School, where he grew up. Across from Mark Lineburg, we talked about Radford. We talked about Mark Lineburg, Norm Lineburg, and Buddy Shull with Kevin Saunders here on the Sports Buffet podcast. Everybody likes to talk about the good old days because, hey, they're good. Talking to Kevin Saunders here on the Sports Buffet. Recently, I've talked with somebody who said they've known you ever since day one. Mark Lineburg. And obviously, if you knew Mark, you probably knew Norm and everybody else. Talk about the connections to the Lineburgs at an early age.
Well, we grew up across the street from each other. And then, we knew each other all through high school, all through college. And when I went to Brookville as an assistant under Kenny Higgins, Mark was an assistant also. Then Mark got the head job. I was his defensive coordinator again, and we lived together. It's just been, our families are close. My brother's close with his brothers. That's just the way it's been. And then Buddy Shull, who was Norman's defense coordinator forever, he's the one that got me to come to J.J. Kelly in the first place to go down there and coach. So I've been close with him for about the same amount of time. It was great growing up there. Incredible stories, a lot of fun, and we continued it. Even when I was living there in Lynchburg, I had a great time in Lynchburg.
For people who may not be as familiar with Norm due to vicinity or age or whatever, how smart was Norm Lineburg to start with?
He was probably ahead of the curve as far as coaching and offensively and defense. He was really put a lot of emphasis on the kicking game. He very fundamental, but he offensive mind. He could scheme you really good. And he was just way ahead of everybody. He threw the ball. He gave you multiple formations. His whole thing was about getting players the ball. And he got his best players to football. And that was way better than anybody's plays that you run. I've learned that over the years. And then looking back on it, I saw Coach Lineburg do it when I was playing for him. He would get the ball to Donald Wayne Snell. Mike Blankenship was our quarterback. And he's done it all through his career. He got the ball to his best people.
How smart was Buddy Shull?
Buddy Shull defensively at that time was really good. They were always really good on defense. Very sound. Gave you some different looks defensively. He was one that I really learned a lot of defensive football from, as far as breaking down film and tendencies and that kind of thing that you did by hand back then. Now you can do it all through a computer program. Just send it in, they'll spit it back out to you. But I had to do it by hand, and I learned a lot. And then you go, then I go to Virginia Tech under Coach Beamer and Bud Foster and learned a ton of stuff. I still run Bud's defense, Coach Beamer's defense, and take a lot of what I've learned from them.
Does doing it by hand make coaches smarter? Does it make them appreciate more? Does it make them more detail-oriented? What would you say?
I'd say if you do it by hand, it makes you a little more paid attention to the little things that you pick up a little bit better than just reading a computer output thing. I spend a lot of time teaching my coaches how to do it by hand that have worked for me so they can learn. I really think it makes them a better coach so they can understand the little nuances of formations and tendencies and down and distance. And there's all sorts of things you can get tendencies from. One of the greatest things I love hearing offensive coaches say, well, we got to be unpredictable. There's only one way to be predictable, to be unpredictable. You have to be predictable first. And that just is the funniest thing I ever hear them say. We got to be unpredictable. Well, you're going to have to be predictable first. So that's the only way you can be unpredictable.
What's your earliest moment from a game in Radford?
See, we would always be playing football in the end zone when I was in elementary school and stuff, and cats would be playing out there, and me and Mark and Robert would be in the end zone playing football, just knocking the hell out of one another in the end zone. I mean, we played tackle football all the time. I remember Coach Lineburg telling us after every Friday not to be playing tackle football this weekend. And sure enough, somebody'd come in on Monday and they'd be having a separated shoulder, broke arm, something. I mean, that's just all we did. That's all we did when we didn't have no PlayStations and cell phones and stuff. We just got together on Saturday and played football and just knocked the hell out of each other. And then we did that come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and again on Friday.
What's the best rivalry you've been a part of? Because you've been around, you've been in a lot of different places, so I think you've experienced a lot of rivalry.
Jefferson Forest was really good. Gretna and Essex was really good.
Let's go back to Brookville JF real quick. Anything special or any stories stick out from those times?
It's just Bob Christmas was there, and they were in their heyday, and Poindexter was playing, and him and myself have become good friends over the years with him recruiting and things, and we've stayed in touch quite a bit. And
we're talking Anthony, not John.
Yes, not John, Anthony. And it was a good rivalry. It meant a lot. I can remember watching E.C. Glass at G.W. Danville play. I remember watching E.C. Glass, Allen Iverson play when he was at Bethel. I mean, Allen Iverson's the greatest high school football player I've ever seen play.
That's what people would say.
That includes Danny Davis, who was at Rustburg. And I had Elmer Holmes in Northern Virginia, and he was one of the best I'd ever seen. But the guys that I named there are just incredible. And it was fun to watch them play.
Tell me a little bit about Elmer Holmes.
Elmer was a freak of nature. He was 6'2", 225 as a sophomore in high school. Was a parade All-American when they did parade All-Americans. I got to coach him sophomore, junior, and senior year. He could make every tackle on the field. He was Ohio State said that they compared him to Sean Springs. He was defensively was the best high school football player I saw. It was nothing for him to make 15 tackles a game all over the field. He was a freak in the weight room. Never said a whole lot, wouldn't give interviews, did not like the newspapers, did not like the television. He did not like being in the spotlight. Just a great high school football player.